champions, which was Rumble and Jace, where you cook them and then you shock blast them. Sounds like how you treat cattle. The opposite way of cattle. You shock, then you cook. No, you shock, then you cook.
Yeah, it makes sense. Maybe in a future patch we'll have that. We've been seeing more Alistair, that's for sure. And it looks like this time Mickey wants to pick up the Talia. I think that was banned in game 1.
Yes, it was.
By Ever, but this time he will get away with taking it. Hiding that bottom lane for now is the ROX Tigers.
Talia is such a powerful mid lane in controlling the lane and assisting your side lanes. Game 1, we saw a Twisted Fate ban. So Talia being a Twisted Fate, if you will, female Twisted Fate with crowd control as well as a semi-global ability. And they're going to deny away the picks into this. Now, Kassadin is going to be a strong pick into Talia, so you might see that being banned out. However, the composition can deal with it effectively if they desire. There's plenty of crowd control between Gragas and Renekton.
See a ban on Kog'Maw here, trying to take away some of these hyper ADCs that they think Sangyu might play. He's played the Kog'Maw before. They already banned the Caitlyn, so trying to just take away as many options as possible.
Lucian actually being denied, so they're testing the waters if Ever truly desires to play Kassadin into this match. If they don't have a great wave clear, again, that will be the downfall of this composition. And the crowd control isn't quite there yet, so a jungle pick would likely have to be the likes of a Lee Sin if they want to go with a Kassadin. It's a great combination of a two-man skirmish comp, but denying the Kog'Maw and the Bard, making sure that you don't have that late game carry that Sangyu has been playing, as well as the Tempered Fate to deny the curtain call that we saw in game 1.
Will the Dirty Rat make his way onto the Rift?
That could apply for so many people. I'm just kidding. You can't hold grudges, man.
I suppose that's true. And yeah, that will be picked up. Sangyu, and there's the Lee Sin you were expecting from Malrong.
Great lead player, but the reason why you ban out the Kog'Maw early on, even though you haven't seen much, is that, well, when you have Gragas and Renekton being locked right away, especially if you don't have a tank, or if you have a tank jungler, it's the optimal way of having these hyper carries in your composition. If they had an Elise or a Graves, a Kha'Zix, running a late game carry is just so unlikely and not optimal. So denying the pick right away of Kog'Maw has been Sangyu's hyper carry of choice, is wise, but he does go with Twitch, and that could be a pick that can surprise Jhin out of nowhere. If he gets significantly far ahead, he can just sneak into the backline and obliterate Jhin in a heartbeat.
Looking at that Lulu, it seems like a pretty obvious choice here. You can keep that Twitch alive. It's fantastic with the already super strong front line you've got with Renekton Gragas combination. Adds a little bit more crowd control as well, the polymorph for any threats that try to get onto the Twitch.
And I believe Lulu was banned in game 1 as well, so getting this pick now for Key could mean that the lane advantages just go so far their way that the Twitch gets out of lane scot-free. Remember that Doran's shield did get nerfed, so Twitch is not going to have such an easy time surviving the lane. However, Duel has been going with boots. He might choose to change his build this time around, but it wouldn't make too much sense, as it does help Jin's laning phase significantly. When you're dealing with the kind of skill shot moves that are the Cask and Lulu's Glitter Lens, then it makes sense to have the movement speed there to protect you.
Yeah, so lining it up, it looks like the Tigers trying to go with that hyper carry of the Twitch. Try to go to that late game, trying to protect this Twitch and have that extra damage coming out of the Talia. Taking another look. This time we're going to see Scepted on the Cassiopeia. We've already seen the Jhin, Tahm Kench before. And this time Malrong gets to play the Lee Sin and even the Rumble. The changed Rumble is going to come in for Ever8.
They do have some comfort picks, but Lindarang is going to be on that Renekton into a nerfed Rumble, at least for that early stage of the game. So they have some pressure to the top side, which might not allow the early game for Ever to go their way. Mickey's Weaver's Wall can help Sangyun so much, but for these compositions, Ever has a larger margin of error with this comp without a tank and with the early game having to go so much their way, dealing with a late game Twitch and no protection.
Well, here we go, guys. It is the tiebreaker. Who's going to take Game 3 and the series? Let's find out on the Rift. Here we go. Kind of the solo queue invade from Ever8. Run down mid towards that blue side. They do get spotted out by a ward because they actually do ward in competitive.
I ward in my solo queue games.
And you got to ward. You got to be a team player, guys. Don't forget that.
I'm kidding. I don't buy control wards. All my gold goes towards items. And yeah, Helper starting out with the Electro Harpoon. So that could be the new way of playing out that Rumble, understanding that you're going to get shoved in. So at least you can farm from afar. There is a D-shield on Linderang, and while the Harpoons do hurt a little bit more, the regeneration could be enough for him to tank some of the Harpoons, deny some of those minions early on.
Harpoon could be nice for trying to snipe some Raptors, too. And speaking of which, Helper, he's looking to poke in just a bit. No, just looking to put on a ward. Makes sense. You're going up against Gragas, Talia, and Septed nowhere near, just in the mid lane.
Getting a bit of a mirrored level 1 here with the wards around the river and jungler starting red side with some vision here. He comes for an invade, but he's taking a different route this time around. Songhyun is not moving towards the enemy blue, so there is going to be some action.
There we go. Is anyone else going to rotate over and try to help Songhwan? Or not? We have the ward coming down. Songhwan does see this. It's going to come down to the smite fight. Who's going to get it? Looks like Lee Sin obviously has the easier shot of doing that. So Songhwan goes over there, watches the blue get taken, and backs away.
I don't know what he's doing. He's channeling Mighty Bear Spirit here and not respecting what Lee Sin can do. They clearly saw him going for this invade, and they don't have pressure in these lanes.
The chase. And you can see that Talia will get over here earlier, so Malrang is taking damage. That poison misses from Septed. And Mickey is going to be the hero that chases the angry blind man away.
Really? That's what it takes to be a hero? Chase an angry blind man away? That's just criminal.
That's League of Legends.
Jesus, I don't want... no wonder you don't like to ride the subway.
Oh, man. Oh, what? Malrang, he got a little bit frisky with those Raptors and paid for it.
Yeah, his smite just wasn't quite up to get that extra healing. And now he has to base, and at least he has a longsword as a purchase, but the cost of going for that invade and getting Talia to go over there ends up in costing too much HP for him to finish a camp.
Let's see what's going up in the top lane for this Rumble. The Flame Spitter does do a little bit of extra damage, as is the trade-off for the significantly higher cooldown in this early game, and it definitely is still obnoxious.
That's the middle name of Rumble. I don't think anybody's ever said I truly enjoy playing against Rumble, especially when they start spamming their mechanical abilities, and the reason why sometimes lower volume significantly in the game. I think there was a time where muting, I'm not sure if it still does, you mute somebody and it mutes their champion spam. I believe it does.
I don't really know, to be honest. I haven't done that in a while. Kind of just accept the the sounds of the game. And taking a small look here at the mid lane, it looks like a combined invade going for those Raptors. Malrang getting revenge on the other Raptors on the other side of the map.
Your cousins did this to me. Gragas just farming away. At least he has his Tracker's Knife already. Start getting some vision around and prevent Malrang's early game. So I like the purchase this time around, not the Gragas that falls behind and has to go for a Hunter's Potion. And if you can get a Scuttle Crab here, that will ease some pain for his mid and bottom lane. But in the top side, you've got Linderang just cooking 24/7.
Yeah, it seems like once you get past around level 4, 3, 4, 5, that cooldown begins to get lower and lower.
Well, remember a key feature of Renekton is his gank assist. You always have to respect that. His ability to close the distance on you and surprise you with a jungler there is one of his biggest strengths. And as such, when Gragas gets spotted so early on, Rumble immediately knows that there's no chance of Renekton doing that. So anytime Renekton goes in, he can easily trade back and be fine with it. See, he goes in right now because Gragas is in the control void.
Sangyu just gonna stealth up here, get away from the gank. Sungwon waiting in the side, but Septid going to play it safe. He's been taking a lot of poke damage from Mickey in the mid lane. Doesn't decide to recall, just playing it extremely safe back at the turret.
Just farming away. ROX would be content with just farming out into the late game with the Twitch. Probably the highest DPS champion come late game, barring Gangplank, whose burst, if you hit multiple barrels, is bonkers.
Yeah, I don't get to see too much Gangplank anymore. We're seeing it every once in a while in spring for just that extreme late game potential. But
and I want to give a shout out to all the guys that played in season 1. That's when that was one of the seasons where, not to toot my own horn, it was kind of abusing.
Go ahead and toot it for all of us.
It was kind of abusing a champion, but I was playing Gangplank where the original Gangplank could deny minions.
Oh yeah.
The only champion in the game could actually deny, so you would kill your own minions, and you would get gold for it. So you deny the enemy's cannon, and your wave would always be at your turret because they have less creeps.
Yeah.
Because they have more creeps, and then you get more gold and more levels, and then you stack gold per 10, 6 gold per 10 items because they were stackable, and then 20 minutes in, you got a full build. You sell everything. And speaking of everything, they're throwing everything at Helper here. He does not have his equalizer available.
He sees this. Yeah, and now coming on in, Mickey with the Weaver's Wall, trying to poke. Helper is dodging quite nice. He's going to flash the wall. There's no more knockup, but here comes the exhaust. The flash in from Renekton, but Septid trying to come in and be the hero now with the big stun to help out his buddy Rumble.
What a great move there from Septid. Reads the play. It looks like it's not done yet as Twitch is here.
The 5-man in top, and look at this. The tower is being pushed. But Songyun has been spotted. Helper in a bad spot. That will be first blood, as he couldn't escape from that one.
The classic ROX Tigers move, just 5-man anywhere, and it works.
What?
Maybe he thought Twitch would continue to stealth in there.
Yeah. Okay.
He would have died if he took that 100%. Between Polymorph and Exhaust, he was done.
Figured the Mickey that was right in front of you with no summoners while you have your kick might have been the easy one, but
what a
to each his own, I suppose.
Would have been a crazy outplay if he can pull that off through Key's Exhaust, who's been on point as he did earn himself that MVP last game, but the efforts from ROX Tigers end up costing them first brick and a big CS advantage for Duel.
Yeah, there you go. First blood coming down on that turret. Actually, Balrog able to force the flash out of someone. We're going to get a look at this replay. I love how a Helper identifies that Septid's coming and flashes towards him, and also to get away from the Renekton.
Yeah, it was great how he saw someone right away, forced someone at the CC right away, and they got the cleanse, I believe, out of. Oh no, Telly had exhaust, no cleanse, so immediately he just defends everybody. And wise of him to go for the honey fruit there to get some HP back, and we don't get to see the collapse, but Twitch came in. Unfortunately, the kill did go to Renekton instead of handing it over to Twitch.
Would be nice to get that snowball rolling already on your Twitch, but not quite there just yet.
Speaking of snowball, Jin's got a under 10-minute Youmuu's. So he's hitting hard, and he's going to be hard to gank, and it's a good build when you're dealing with Twitch. You just pop that movement speed, make sure you can get away from any attempt at an ambush.
Just getting some vision down here as a team is the ROX Tigers, looking to take out the Control Wards, put down some of their own. Malrong fighting back the zone Control Ward.
It's a Mountain Dragon early on, so I don't think these teams want to give up their lives for it. They have no problems with taking fights early on.
Okay, some poison coming out. Oh, the body slam from Songwon to save Mickey's life. Accepted. Bonus blast for that, not able to pick up the kill.
I think he could have had that. I think if he spammed his Twin Fang right away, he should have been able to proc the Twin Fang. The cooldown it's 0.5 when it's this low when you proc that poison, so a bit of a misplay. I'm going to say that I think he could have had that.
Yeah, I would have to agree, but here comes the hero Malrong trying to make it work onto Songwon, but he's taking a lot of damage and finally Accepted able to pick up a kill with the poison on the back end.
The Toad goes for the surround, and while it looked like someone outplayed the resonating strike on that final connection with his body slam, unfortunately it just wasn't enough. They don't have any damage between Lulu and Gragas, and they can tank the turret for days. And here it comes, the attempt onto Son. The second he uses cast, they're gonna go for him, even if cast wasn't up. And there we go. Ella just tanking out. Except could have tanked a little bit more too, had it come to that.
Spotting Mickey here, and look at how much he's already chunking him down. Exhaust forced to come out, missing that knock over the side of love, and there is Ella coming in from the bottom lane.
Oh, Mickey. Could this be the beginning of a slippery slope?
Going from 0-1 to 0-5, perhaps. We've seen it before. Last time was on Oriana.
He does have the ability to get back to lane quickly with the Talia passive. Always the details. I think if you do the math actually on Talia's passive and the runes that were removed a while back, which are the time spent dead.
Oh yeah.
Not sure which one would win out. They weren't too effective, those time spent dead runes, until a crazy late game.
Malrong trying to solo the Rift Herald, a move we've seen many times. And it looks like ROX actually do see him with the ward there at the top of the pit. So they're trying to collapse. Will they get there in time? It doesn't look like it. Just not collapsing soon enough. Can they actually kill him is the question. Looks like Ella going for the flash, can't get the Devourer off. And here's Songyun in the perfect Weaver's Wall, trying to come from behind. Meanwhile, Accepted trying to make something happen all by himself, but he will be taken out. Now Ella trying to go for the Devourer onto Songyun. Lots of low members on the side of ROX, but Ever just cannot clean up.
And Mickey came in with such a sick Weaver as well. There he is, blocked out both the carries, forced them to tank the entire rest of the team. Duel forced a flash out, but he was already too low, could not take out Mickey. And now they're gonna walk away with that tier 1, and a bizarre chain of events there from Malrang, standing completely still onto the turret after taking Herald. I think he could have walked away, flashed somewhere, like,
he just
okay,
stepped.
he got it.
It's like,
I mean, there's kick. Yeah, he could have not had safeguard, but they're on the equalizer, but there's just not enough damage yet when the carries have already been isolated.
This is the Mickey we want to see, with that kind of Weaver's Wall to cut him off, help Songyun get that consistent damage even early on in the game. And even though it opens up the equalizer that you were talking about, they had enough of an advantage from there.
It's a Rumble that doesn't have items to deal damage right now. He's got items to survive laning phase and getting ganked. It's a Seeker's Arm Guard Ninja Tabis, and really the only high AP damage item he has is a blasting one, which is not a lot of damage. Typically right now you could have seen a Haunting Guys come out, or maybe even a Leandries had he been significantly far ahead, as Lindarang has a cleaver at this stage.
Oh, they're looking for the Devourer. Seismic Shove will get him out of the way. Curtain Call even blown there onto Mickey. And with that pressure, it looks like Ever will just be happy with the Cloud Drake.
This could be the use of Rift Herald. He's got red buff. Choose that Honey Fruit to get back on the lane, and now that they have an idea as to where the lanes are, as they have side of Gragas and side of Talia and the bottom lane as well, Herald on mid could yield tier 1.
Oh boy, Songyun with the dodge there onto the ult, but the speed with a Storm Raider surge for Septic gets him out of harm's way. Songyun didn't look like he wanted to fight that anymore anyway.
Yeah, Septic can take that battle save for the exhaust on Lulu. So that's a critical ability in here.
Uh-oh, Linderong in a heap of trouble. Equalizer coming down, slice and dice. Can't get him out of the way, even though the Q of the Lee Sin does miss. Linderong, 1v4, cannot make it work.
That's a spree, and that's good for Ever. Now they're sitting at a goal lead that's growing their way. The Cassiopeia can lane find bottom lane, and Mickey's not a big threat if there's no one in the side lanes to assist. By himself, he's not going to get anybody killed, especially when you're dealing with Tahm Kench and Jhin. And while tier 1 is going down on them, they need to establish the lanes first before they can start having the 2-1 Talia enable anybody else.
Curious to see how much gold the Rumble has. Oh man, just enough for a tome. I thought maybe he could make the Haunting guys.
He's just full of components today. Throwback to Darian there.
I know,
Darian,
like what is this?
There was a time when that was actually a good, oh, what? All right, I don't understand these uses of Rift Herald, whereas you could always crack mid lane turret.
Maybe they're just not happy with the wave clear of Talia, but Malrong trying to push Linderong away. Both these guys part of the Ron clan.
Sure, you cannot be happy with the wave clear of Talia, but remember that Herald itself counts as a minion. If you can zone them off from actually getting that critical strike onto the eye, you might have been able to walk away with a tier 1, which is immensely more valuable than a tier 1 topside. There are no objectives that truly apply to that at this stage in the game.
One thing I actually don't know is, can you stop the Rift Heralds in its charge?
I believe maybe a Nivea wall. When it came out, they did announce that certain abilities can stop it. I know that. I've tried it using Gragas Ultimate. That does not stop it. So all I can
wonder about
really
Seismic Shove.
No, I don't think so. I think
maybe just walls.
I think wall could
like
really
a
be the
Cataclysm also.
Maybe
perhaps?
Cataclysm's not the most refined ability.
Okay, looking for that, and the Deadly Flourish will land. They're really trying to get Songyun just out of this fight. They're going to clear up all those minions in the meantime. Songyun's still relatively healthy as they continue to push on in. The Weaver's Wall looking to get the nice Devour, though, onto Jhin, and it looks like Helper's the only one that's stuck on that one side of the wall. Will be forced to flash it, but here comes Septed over the wall. Linderong trying to make something work in the back line, but it looks like he's going to take a ton of damage. Does flash the wall to get out to safety.
And nobody dies, but the fight started with the combination we thought they would be looking for when they selected this trap. Open up with the Equalizer, you can easily hit a Deadly Flourish into a Curtain Call, and Songyun has to flash away. Immediately the rest of ROX react, but an engage is not going to happen as they already had so many summoners, and aggressive positioning was no longer available for Twitch.
So no deaths across the board. Will be the mass recall by the Tigers. We're going to get a replay of this fight.
Here it comes. So Malring's on the side, threatens immediately. He hits a Q, Equalizer on top of it, and wisely so, he flashes out of that one. Otherwise, Lee would have certainly followed through. We're going to get to see a little bit more out of this one as Gragas comes from the side, but Talia is not here yet. Twitch can only hit one target, so nobody really gets to go down.
Lots of summoners used across the board.
It's a summoner victory. It's punching each other for fun. You know, you trade one for one to see who's manlier kind of thing. Like, I'll punch you, you punch me, and then you escalate the damage until
Have you played that game before, Crumbs? I've never played that myself.
Really?
Wait, you punch each other in the face to see who's more manly?
In the arm.
Oh. No, I think I played that like once. It's like the dumbest game ever. What's the point? It's like, let's just hurt each other.
We were all kids at one point, all right? You didn't come out of the womb as you are now.
I guess that is true. We've all had our fair share of random stupid games.
Random acts of violence.
Part of growing up. Equalizer was blown there, and for not all that much. No summoners, nothing really. Trying to engage on here. This avoids from behind. Perhaps Septed is all alone. He's trying to do something. I swear this has happened so many times in this series where one person just gets caught out alone.
You need to call the MIAs. You need to understand that if Twitch is missing, that he can ambush you with him and Lulu, who can lurk in the shadows and accelerate the rate at which he comes straight at you, then you are always going to be in danger. But at least to Septed's relief, he sees how much damage he can actually do to Sangyun. So next time around, if he gets some stuns off and there's less people, he should be able to turn it into at least a 1-for-1.
Okay, there's the Abyssal Voyage, but it's Malrock and Ella all alone. The immediate Devour saying, hey, we got to get out of here. Throws him into him. They're looking for the kill onto Mickey. Getting extremely low. One more hit will do it. Finally, Ella able to tongue slap him to death. And they will just trade the 1-for-1.
Taking down that mid laner could open up the map for either this Dragon or the mid-tier 1. Renekton's already here at the wave, so it's going to be that Dragon going their way. And this Dragon will allow them to crack this mid-tier 1 in the near future. Lindarang should not be trying to check this, as there is nobody else from his team ready to help him out.
Yeah, I thought he was actually going to walk in there. Solo queue revisited. A two-part play by Lindarang. But here we go, the Abyssal Voyage from behind. And it was like, looking really weak, but then when you look weakest, you strike back.
I like how he spat him out backwards the wrong way. You don't see that one coming, so immediately gets responded with a kill onto the Talia.
Malrock looking to get some vision down here. ROX, they did this last time on the red side, where they just try to control that area, the south side of the top river, and get as much vision as possible and look for picks with all the CC that they have.
And all those picks will only get stronger, as Sangyun has gone with a build that isn't typically what we see out of Twitch. Normally we see that Blade of the Ruined King that helps with the laning phase with your lifesteal, that allows you to slow people down and get that extra, get some extra auto attacks in when you're trying to ambush somebody. But this time around he's gone with Infinity Edge, Static, and that last itemization could be a Phantom Dancer when it comes to dealing with engaging onto the backline, and that means that it's just a full-on late game build out of the Twitch, which only makes ROX's late game even stronger.
Yeah, and so far they're in a pretty good spot. I mean, they're sitting at even gold at this point. They're pushing more and more turrets, getting the fight wins they need. That's going to be the third tier 1 turret that goes down for them as they do take the gold lead. Looks like Ever8 wants to strike back in the mid lane. Malrock being slowed here. Doesn't look like there's any follow-up. And Mickey's wave clear once again, denying that mid-tier 1 for so long.
It's a good movement there from Mickey, but the rest of the ROX squad have to be careful. They almost lost that tier 1 into the mid lane because they sent Gragas, Twitch, and Lulu to the top side to try to get a pick on another unsuspecting victim. You ever have been learning their lessons and have been sending people to more safe situations when it comes to wave clearing that top side, so they don't get caught out by the Twitch. But if they do that again, they could easily lose that tower, and that tower has been holding so much of the pressure so far. And the example would be that bottom, that lane, tier 1, that Lindarang was just able to take. Even though he has vision of the river with a couple of wards, the one that just faded right now, because Talia is in the mid lane, she has a quicker access into that bottom lane, forcing Rumble to back off in the threat of getting ganked by a Weaver as well.
The small parts of competitive play that sometimes aren't exactly obvious if you're just watching from the outside looking in. Nice control ward here from Malrock. I think it is, that really just says, okay, this side of the wall is ours. You can have control of the other side. We know you're there, but we don't want to give you even just that inch of room.
That sounds awfully political.
Yeah. It's just a game for position, land mass, the extra resources.
That is true. And now the resource is Baron, the hottest commodity in Summoner's Rift.
Ooh, nice dodge there. Somewhat. He's a tanky Gragas. He's a big boy. He'll be okay. Small rotation up into mid lane by the ROX Tigers. You got 3 members up here. But looking in mid lane, we actually saw a collapse onto Mickey, who's forced to blow his Weaver's wall to get to safety.
That would only help Rumble for the most part right now, at least to how ROX is playing. Meanwhile, the 3-man squad of Gragas, Lulu, Twitch continue to be as close-knit as possible, making it so that it becomes incredibly difficult to answer back onto the Twitch with just so much crowd control and displacement on those 2 members.
Here comes Mickey into the bot lane. He's seen on a ward. And this means that it is 4-on-3 up towards Baron. We'll see if Ever8 tries to take advantage of this, especially with no Weaver's wall. Looks like they're beginning to push in, try to take back some of that land mass, some more of those resources.
And Lee can't do much when there's a Gragas that he connects to. Body Slam will always negate so many of his abilities. Only an insanely good Lee Sin could bypass Gragas' Body Slam, but you'd have to use so many summoners, be so damn fast that it's almost never worthwhile and highly unlikely to happen. He's basically have to be a half asleep to allow Lee Sin to get by.
Yeah, or he has to be blank, I suppose. I don't think Blank was playing against
But Blank's
Gragas.
17-0.
That's what I'm saying. He would have to be blank status.
Oh, okay.
In order to
I
make
thought
that
you were
work.
talking about the Gragas being blank
No,
status. There's a teleport.
No. Coming from behind, all the pings going down. Linderong is spotted, looking for duel. Can he get on top of him, trying to actually stun him, but look at Mickey actually getting knocked off the wall. Wild Growth is going to keep him alive for now. Does knock down that wall. Meanwhile, up in the top left, Linderong was trying to go 1v3 and does get taken out. Equalizer coming down. Songyun taking a bit of damage. Him and Key at half health, trying to just kite as much as possible. The big flash forward from Septic, trying to get a couple of kills. That'll net them 3, and that should be the Baron going over to Ever8.
Oh, and ROX's attempt again just has no sense with everybody going on to different targets. They immediately have Renekton and teleport behind, but he's going into Atam Kench with nobody close to follow through. They have no issues with turning onto him, and while ROX Mickey attempts to take down Septed, it just wasn't even close as everybody else collapsed as well. And this is just what happens when you try to make the individual plays and the enemy team play as a team.
So that's going to net them just so much. The Baron into the tier 1 mid that they finally take out. The tier 2 top does get taken out by Septed. They're all just holding a ton of gold at this point. A couple of items picked up from Alrong there. And you can see what happens in the top lane. Linderong, he's all alone, and Mickey couldn't get there in time. Malrong and Septed right there to knock him off the wall.
Oh, yeah, they intercepted him, actually, so he got greedy. So it wasn't that much. The thing is, that teleport, all that matters is Twitch. If Twitch isn't there, nobody else is dying.
The play from Septed, the double stun, and then
just a beautiful flash ultimate there. We know he can play Cassiopeia, so going for these plays is no skin off his back, and now he's so powerful. And while Twitch did hit that spike of a Phantom Dancer, they're dealing with a Baron. Chances of an ambush and for it to succeed have gone lower than ever.
Well, they're looking. Songyun is spotted by that plant. Looking for more tier 2s. I think that's going to be an easy bot tier 2 that they take out. Might try to collapse onto mid.
And this is the same problem that ROX had game 1. They have a composition that can make it to the late game and have a huge team fighting impact, but they just refuse to go for that time.
Oh, looking for Septed here. He stepped a little bit too close to the Gragas. They will take him out. Look at Songyun in the back, totally protected. Deadly Flourish trying to save Ella's life. They might just leave him to the Wolves here, even opening up that curtain call. Not going to do all that much, just a bit of poke damage. Forced to give up 2 members.
That was an MVP level engage from San Juan there, making sure that the second Cassiopeia steps up, you go for a pick, and that will slow down this Baron significantly and allow them to hit that spike where Twitch becomes a monster. That's a great move by him, singling him out, especially because Ella wasn't there. Had Ella been a little bit closer, a Devour would have been all it took. And here it comes again. Ella's sitting, clearing out some vision. And the ultimate just so well played. 4 people there ready to collapse. And the Weaver's Wall that gets followed through allows them to get 2 kills. So good teamwork coming out. But I was criticizing them earlier for their ability to stall out a game improperly. And this time around, they are making the right moves to do so. So the change from Seonghwan to Mighty Bear seems to be the answer for them to execute compositions with a bit more accuracy.
It definitely keeps things interesting in this one, rather, as the Tigers aren't too far behind and Baron is about to run out. With just a couple of Cloud Drakes that they've picked up, hasn't really been too much of a benefit to them so far. They can't clear these turrets in one fell swoop, as if they had the Mountain Drake or some Infernal Drakes.
They have to group if they want to make the most out of this Baron. And taking down this tier 1 is not going to be an easy task when you have Gragas as well. And Mickey's on the side looking for a Weaver's Wall that can cut off some members.
Let's see when they decide to do it. Moving forward onto the Balrog. Weaver's Wall comes out, and look at that. Helper all alone. Should be able to get him after that. Zonya is nicely timed by Seonghwan, and they get another pick.
It's risky to siege if you don't have vision of everybody else. Talia specifically, that Weaver's Wall that comes out from the side significantly shortens your path of retreat. And when you're so immobile and rely on other... Whoa, there he is.
Out comes the Rat, saying, okay, this is my turret. Get out of here. Redemption gonna heal everyone up, but this isn't a siege that they can stop right now. ROX not gonna stick around too long, knowing it's just 5v4. That Helper's near respawning.
Now Twitch is approaching critical mass. He's already with a QSS, so no longer Concepted flash in and eliminate all his damage immediately. He has to at least suffer some back in return and have to do so at the hands of a Phantom Dancer, reducing his DPS. And with Lulu in his hands, that opening onto Helper, he didn't even use that spray and pray. That actually was just his plain old auto attacks, and while there were multiple members focusing him, it was effective. And here we go again. Let's see what Sunyun does. So they open it up right away, and just great timing on that cast. The second that he drops the equalizer, so he essentially CC'd himself, and he's got no chance of escaping out of this, and then they walk away with a tier 2 into the mid lane.
Yeah, League of Legends, it can sometimes be a hard game. It's 5-on-5. You have to take everything into account. And exactly what you were saying before about the vision. It's like, you know you're going up against a Talia. You know that your enemy has so many engage opportunities, that Twitch is going to be lurking there. They have to take every single thing into account before they go for a play. And I think after that one, Ever8's kind of resetting, saying, okay, we got to be aware of this. We got to make sure we don't get caught out like that again. But I can't help but feel that it might just be a little bit too late, because now the Twitch, as you were talking about with all the items, now he's picked up a pickaxe, just beginning to stack more and more damage. It's going to be a really scary thing as we go later in this game.
And it's often so difficult to be introspective and think about how you got the advantage that you got. That Baron was completely ROX's mistake, a bad teleport. And sure, they had the great position to get Mickey out of that wall, but them overstepping their boundaries had nothing to do with Ever's vision. It was them getting surprised. Had that flank been better, ROX could have been the one in the winning situation this time around. So Ever now are in a position where they're unsure how to get leads themselves, and they need to be just so grouped and respectful of where Twitch is that it becomes a highly tense moment if you just have no idea where he is, because you assume that he's everywhere.
Well, they do see him up in the top lane for now, which is why they're able to be so aggressive in reducing a lot of this vision and pushing the mid lane. But they have to know that he has rotated down now. And look at Mickey's positioning once again. Looking for that Weaver's Wall behind. Kind of an awkward angle, and there it is. Looking for Septed. He bounces on the left side of the wall, so they cannot get him. Weaver's Wall won't connect this time.
So here's how Ever should probably play this fight. You gotta kick Twitch out.
Okay, they try to get that stun, the immediate QSS, and he gets bopped down all alone, and Key sitting on top of that Rumble ultimate is not going to survive either. They trade back 1 kill onto Malrong, but the rest of them, they're on the run. Linderong is going to be slowed up. Septed going deep, looking for that kill. He's going to pay for it with his life. Mistakes across the board.
What?
Linderong trying to TP. I spoke too soon, and they take him out as well on the back.
That's what I was saying, right? The advantages that Ever got came out of ROX's mistake. They open up in such a greedy way. Sang thinking he's immortal and gets taken out right away. So, okay, the engage had come out with the Weaver's Wall that faded. So already it looked like it was already out, but there is no peel here. Gragas isn't even close. He opens up by himself, takes everything that Ever can throw at him, and immediately dies. Had this been played out properly, Ever's approach should have likely been that you need to have Lee Sin kick out Twitch when he uses his ultimate so that he no longer has that extra range, which is such a difficult thing to do, but the most proper play. Now he has no flash to kick Twitch into the team, which can be a difficult thing to pull off because between Gragas, Renekton, and Lulu being there, if you kick Twitch into the team and you're not capable of getting past those bodyguards, he's just going to be closer to killing everybody.
So Ever8, they've got some life breathed into them as they're now going for the Baron. They have this Mountain Drake. They're pulling it down so fast. ROX just can't get there in time. Weaver's Wall comes down, but there's just no follow-up. All 5 members of Ever8 looking to get out of this one. They're waiting in the brush. They're saying, okay, if you want to fight, we can do this. Mickey from the left side looking for that seismic shove. Rumble just going to be eaten up by Ella here. And Mickey's still coming from behind. Still looking for this. Big redemption here. Malrong on the right side looking for the Twitch, but uh-oh, where did Duel go? He just disappeared, and Songyun, this time he's got the peel, looking to take down that entire backline, and all of a sudden, Ever8, they're just being torn apart by the ROX Tigers. Malrong trying to be a hero, looking for 1 kill if he can. Looks like he will be able to get it. Can he actually get out of this one? Songyun still on the chase. Nice slow there from the Glitterlands, and they will be able to get the ace over the ROX Tigers.
And we can tell what team is Ever watching. It's Longju, the one, or Afrika, the one team that ends up taking Baron and dies right away. They had everything. They could have just left, but Malrang, he just went for some crazy wraparound, thinking that the fight would happen around Baron, but instead it happens around the lane. Lee Sin's not able to participate in the fight, and while the death timers are not long enough for a base, he can go for an inhibitor.
Yeah, they're going to push in the inhibitor here. 100%, just back off. They know they've gotten a huge lead now, and even Mickey just gonna get out of here on that Weaver's Wall. Wants to do a bit more pushing, it seems, in the mid lane. But we're gonna take another look at this.
They could have just left. You had Baron, or at least turned in a much better fashion. Here's Malrang's not participating in any of this. He's trying to get some crazy surprise onto everybody else. Well, Mickey got a great position that nobody else can follow up on him. He's got flash, and here's where Lee Sin, where Twitch gets to open up on everybody, but Lee Sin's not even there. He's dancing around with Lulu. Twitch is so critical that he is not in the fight. Lee Sin is the key to eliminate Twitch from these fights, but the second he's not there, you know ROX is going to walk away victorious.
So funny to watch the Lee Sin run at the Lulu and just get polymorphed for a full 2 seconds, I think it is, and just say, hey, you're not doing anything. Get out of here.
And then he dies. He actually ends up dying.
It was really cool to see the cask used at the same time just for CC to make sure that they could get that kill onto Duel and eventually onto the rest of the team. Just taking out the DPS.
And I think that from the angle that Mickey was taking, it would have been maybe too difficult to actually get the recall in. But the way that they turned was just so ineffective. Opening up with the equalizer before anybody committed is never a good way to start a fight if you don't have any immediate CC to follow it up. It was just, let's see what happens. Do you want to walk in here? They're like, no. No, we don't. And,
no, I would not like to, no. No, thank you.
We'll wait. Going with a full, oh, I forget that actress name. Never mind.
It's okay. Maybe it'll come back to you later. We trust you, Crumbs. Pull through with the memes.
They do say trust is a bigger compliment than love.
Would have to agree. Well, the Weaver's Wall coming in. Not going to block off too much, to be honest. I guess Duel on the left side over there, which definitely can be a decent lock off for a significant period of time. There's the equalizer, is going to hit a lot of these members. Redemption looking to trade back that damage. And the curtain call trying to slow down these members. The big crit onto Mickey. But it looks like ROX will be happy to just disengage from here. Lots used by Ever8.
They don't have a siege composition. They're all short range. Twitch is not going to open up with spray and pray onto the tower. So they want to be fighting outside or waiting for Ever to overstep and at least have a numbers advantage. Look at Malrang, though. He's fancying another angle once again, but he needs some serious follow-up if a kick onto Twitch is to come through.
So siege unsuccessful. Looks like maybe they will just recall, buy some items, go for Elder Drake. Might be the play. They don't have any Elemental Drakes themselves. All four of them going over to Ever8 at this point.
Well, ROX clearly is a team that doesn't care much for Dragons, considering their previous games.
Well, they will care for this one as pings are going down. 20 seconds and Lulu just recalled. You can see Linderong staying in base with that TP, looking for the home guard. Burst and movement speed. They have a ton of wards back there behind that red buff. So lots of options for Linderong.
It's important to note that Sangyun, however, doesn't have a lot of options. He has not gone with any penetration in his build, so very clearly he's aiming for only 2 targets here. The Cassiopeia and the Jhin, those are the biggest threats. There is more armor onto the likes of Rumble, and Lee Sin definitely has a lot of armor, so he has to be shooting for the backline. He's not going to maximize his damage if he's going for frontline. And that means that they can have a better idea as to where Twitch is going to open up from.
Accepted. He feels forced to clear the top wave, and this is a very meticulous Elder Dragon take. ROX seemingly almost deciding against it. They're pulling it all the way out, trying to deny as much vision as possible, but both of the scanners were used, so they will commit to that control ward, and the Weaver's Wall comes out. You can see that Ever8 just totally backing off. Will give this one up to the ROX Tigers.
And they should have backed off sooner. This Dragon doesn't mean anything for their base. They still don't have a siege composition. You can have as many stacks as you want in the world, but this Twitch is not going to be sieging turrets in a safe position. This Dragon is going to allow ROX to prepare for the Baron that's coming up in 40 seconds. And wisely does Ever now move to the Baron side and start making their preparations. They secure Scuttle Crab. You see Malrang getting some vision down on the minimap. He's just... Wait, okay.
He's trying to buy time.
Yeah, he's stalling it out.
Yeah. Give themselves the best push and the best chance at the Baron.
Cool move there.
You don't see that very often. You have to have a lot of map control to make that work.
So the cost of that Dragon was the vision. Now it's going to be up to ROX to start denying it. Here comes the first use of a sweeper. If they can protect some of these, the Baron could become a death trap for themselves.
They don't have any control wards left over. If you look at the inventory of the Tigers versus Ever8, they have a lot. And oh boy, could be a pick here onto Ella and Duel as well. The equalizer comes in, but Linderong from the side. They are going to take out Ella and Duel. The 2-for-1 here. He trying to be taken out, but look at that damage from Zongyun. Septic can't even get close. Helper all alone will surely meet the same fate, and that should be the game going over to the ROX Tigers.
What are they doing? They're standing in mid lane by themselves. There's a Twitch missing, and Sangyun just pulls the trigger right away. This is game over. What? Oh, there you go.
The sad solo Baron. Oh, Malrang.
He's not going to get the execute in time.
He is tanking the turret, because why not at this time? So 3 pretty long games, I guess, outside of the game 2, which was one of the shorter ones, but 2 long games as the Tigers do eventually take out the series in a 2-1 victory.
And so much of it was the ROX Tigers being aggressive. They were the assertive team in this series for the most part, especially in that 3rd game. And while some of their moves end up backfiring and you, as expected, it's not a team that is even in the middle of the pack right now. That's why some of their engages are not the best thought out or even the best executed. They're the ones being aggressive, and because Ever has to be so reactive, they're always going to be on the back foot. And this time around, it just so happened to be that the proper roulette for the ROX Tigers was that they're going to be winning that final fight, and the fight transitions into a Nexus explosion.
So the ROX Tigers, they give themselves a much better chance at avoiding relegation. I mean, we're almost at the halfway point. Round 1 is nearing completion, as I think this is the first day of week 5. And you can see not too happy faces on the side of Ever8. They go to 1-8, I believe it is.
At least it rhymes, you know?
1-8. 1 and Ever8. Lol. And yeah, I mean, Mahler had a pretty sick game number 1. I mean, shout out to that. Again, some mistakes from Mighty Bear and the side of ROX Tigers, but he really took advantage of them. So shout out to him. Doing pretty well in that game, at least. Had some trouble in the others. We are going to take a look at some of the replays of Game 3.
It's one of those early fights, the one that ROX Tigers ends up going with a great Weaver as well, and Mickey soloing out the Jhin means that Cassiopeia left to deal with everybody else is not going to be enough. And that's where we're thinking, okay, ROX Tigers is coming up. But this play, for me, was the critical moment in this game. That Baron could have resulted in so much for Ever. But because Sungwon found Cassiopeia, the Baron was completely mitigated. There was no chance of any push anytime soon. And as such, ROX got a new lease on life. And here's where, okay, Sangyu gets a little bit caught up, but every time it's the ROX Tigers starting the fight. It's them looking for something to do.
It worked out for them sometimes, other times it didn't. This was a really nice dodge by someone actually to stay alive.
He's looking for revenge for that first kill onto that Baron, however.
The big TP.
Nothing's personal. You can't be personal in this game. And after this one was all, like, the Baron use from Ever actually was just abysmal here. After choosing not to recall, just taking a poor fight, they immediately just get bopped through the, actually the cast that you mentioned was so stupendous. Not only knocking away Cassiopeia and Rumble into the turret, but Jhin into the mid-air to just get sprayed and prayed.
Well, he's probably spraying and praying in that sense right before he dies.
What does that even mean?
You guys can think about it for yourself. But we're going to go ahead and look at the result for game number 3. All the dragons in the world can't help Ever. And the ROX Tigers will take down a 44-minute game. Talia with the most damage in the game, followed up by Rumble.
Yeah, and Twitch, to me, while he might, yeah, he definitely was the MVP for me here. I would say that him, but the plays that enabled so much came out of someone. The early game, okay, maybe not so much, but the Twitch ended up putting so much pressure on the map, putting Ever on the back foot, and they were there the entire time. ROX decides their fate, and that's the bonus of being assertive. You get to decide your fate. Do you win or lose? It's at your hands.
So guys, we're gonna go into the interview right now. I'll throw it over to Ji-sun.
So here we have Key for the MVP interview. So you were almost close to dying in the set 2, but you survived for 2 times. So how was the situation? It was really close, but since all the aggro was into me, I knew our team fights were gonna win. So you played Bart, Braum, and Lulu. In your opinion, what are the top tier support champions? For the first picks, Braum and Tahm Kench. Or if you're thinking further for the team fights, maybe Lulu. How do you feel about today's victory? Well, this was the end of the first round, and I'm not really satisfied with the result, but we're going to try harder for the next round. So who would you like to pick for the MVP? The last game was really close, but thanks to Songhwan's Gragas, I think we took the game, so maybe I'll pick Songhwan.
Can you guys guess who it's going to be? It's someone. 1-4 and 16, 81% kill contribution. Crumbs, you were right on point. His playmaking was what made the plays.
Exactly. It's all about the utility, more value than damage. That's why you have pride in being a good tank. A good tank was a lot longer than boom, just sitting there and hitting right click.
So it's been a long time since you were in the gaming booth. How do you feel? Well, after losing the first set, I was also nervous at the same time, but I think it's really nice that we won the game finally. I think the initiation in the set 3, when you were defending the mid turret, and the engagement was awesome. How did you make it? I thought Cassiopeia was in quite a close range, so I thought I could put her into our turret, so I think we won the team fight. I think there's been a change in ROX rotation, especially ROX didn't go rush on the Barons. Was there any changes in your shot calls? During the scrims, we had hard times from our synergy or coordination, so we're trying to get those things better. And also, we kind of ruined the whole game by going the Baron in so much rush, so the feedback was mostly about not going to Baron so much. So yeah, I think we just kind of get improved. So it was a long match. And in what moment did you know that you're gonna win? Well, actually, when we gave Baron, I thought we were gonna lose, but after someone's super play, I thought we were quite in the lead and we finally won the match. So this was the last match of the first round. What did you find to get improved? At the beginning of the season, by losing with the match of Jinair, I think it was a rough start. And we only took 1 set in every match, so I think we could do better, but I feel we should just try harder to get whole 2 sets for our victory. So we're gonna show the power of ROX Tigers in the second round. And this was the end of the interview. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Ji-sun, for the translation. And guys, that was the end of ROX Tigers versus Ever8. Up next, well, we're going to take a look at the standings. Yeah. So ROX Tigers, they're in the mid tier now, I suppose. They have kind of pushed themselves away from BBQ, MVP, and Ever8. In that sense, still not in a fantastic spot, but if they go on a crazy roll, I mean, we still have another half of the split to go, so they could potentially still make it work.
They do have that potential, but they've got a long ways to go, as the 2 opponents directly above them are Afrika and Jinair, who are the teams that actually end up poking to the top of the table. They have been able to put up a significant fight against all the other guys above them, so for the ROX Tigers to end up taking them down, they need a drastic change in the way that they approach the game, and it's a synergy that they were mentioning that is lacking, that will be necessary if they want to get out of that 7th place.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard road for them, and we'll see if they can do it. But guys, we're on camera now, and so is that guy. But we're going to go into a 30-minute break, as is the way of all LCK done over here in Korea. But the moment you've been waiting for after that break is going to be coming. It's going to be the Telecom Wars, SKT versus KT. It's going to be the big match. What are you thinking, Crumbs?
The climax of League of Legends happens here. This was last LCK's final. This could be a world final. This is the pinnacle of League of Legends.
2 of the best